Hello, you're watching TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick. We are here at the Internet of Retail event in the Crown Plaza Hotel in a place called Gerrard's Cross, which is north of London in the sort of stockbroker belt. So that's where we are, and I'm talking with Alexander Willis, who is Head of Digital and Content at the All England Lawn Tennis Club, better known to the world, of course, Alexander, as Wimbledon. Now, there's a brand beyond compare. Absolutely, I mean, it's utterly world famous. What kind of an impact is the Internet of Things and the Internet of Retail having on the All England Lawn Tennis Club, and why are you embracing it?
Well, I think it's a tremendous opportunity, to be honest. I mean, the way that the world is changing around us is a thrill and a challenge, and for a brand such as Wimbledon, which has these very core traditions, these things that people really resonate with, having these developments in technology allows us just to take that to a bigger audience and to improve our customer experience.
We have seen, of course, and all of us who watched on TV, or those that are lucky enough to attend, we've seen changes in the technology as far as line judging is concerned and various other things. But what about stuff that you're involved in on a daily basis, which is the Internet of Retail and the Internet of Things, which is being used for a somewhat different purpose? Can you explain what those are?
Yeah, well, we sort of have two pillars to our digital strategy. The first is for the 21 odd million people who don't actually get to come to Wimbledon. As you said, 500,000 people are lucky enough to come. And so what we try to do for those individuals is to give them an experience that is the next best thing to being here. So everything from our digital platforms to our social media to the way that we're working with our broadcasters on integrating content through them is about reflecting what Wimbledon really is when you walk through the gates. And then we have this secondary audience, which is the spectator in the grounds, and this is where we've been able to really use the innovations in technology around the use of iBeacons, beginning the communication with someone's journey as soon as they arrive at the station, not just the minute that they get into the gates. It's actually about the build-up and the anticipation and building that excitement.
When you say iBeacons, what do you mean?
They're little devices that you can sit on anything, really. They're just with sticky tape. And when you walk past them and you have the Wimbledon app, it triggers a message to be sent to you. So these are being used with great effect by people wanting to sell to people. And we were very adamant that, and again it comes back to the brand and respecting the traditions of the brand, that wasn't the way we would use them. We would simply use them to say hello. So when you step off the tube station at Southfields or at Wimbledon, it says, hello, welcome to Wimbledon. If you have a ticket, this is the way you need to go. If you don't, this is how to join the queue. And that's it. It's as simple as that.
Thank you. Okay. Now, so you have, obviously, at Wimbledon, you have policies and strategies for the Internet of Things and the Internet of Retail. How does that expand going forward? How does it adapt and change to changing circumstances?
Well, I think what we did last year with the beacons, we put them on the stations and in the queue, nothing actually in the grounds. It provided a really useful insight into the receptiveness of our audience to actually take them on. It also, you never quite know when you dive in with something like this, and Wimbledon is a cautious brand, how many people actually come who have the Wimbledon app. And so what we're thinking about doing going forward is what can we do and how can we take that technology into the grounds themselves, but again, not cross the line into being too much of a sales pitch and marketing. So can we use the messages to actually improve people's day, make it easier for them to get around, know where they have to find their strawberries rather than just saying, you must eat strawberries. It's just a little extra layer of insight, really.
And it's a tricky line to walk, Alexander, between falling over into the blatantly commercial side of it and retaining respect for what is, as we've said, a beloved brand around the world.
Absolutely, and it's a line that we sort of dance around on a daily basis. I mean, we pride ourselves on the fact that we want to grow and we want to expand, but we will always do it in a very Wimbledon way. So a crude example is on social media, we don't wish tennis players happy birthday. It's one of the easiest ways to grow and get reaction, but that's not Wimbledon. So instead we focus on bringing to life bits of footage in different ways. So that's not related to IoT, but it's that's a similar.
But it's use of technology for that purpose without being so obvious.
Exactly.
In many ways.
Exactly. And that's where the way that technology is developing really gives us an opportunity to celebrate the subtleties and the eccentricities of our brand in a way that is sometimes surprising, and that is a real thrill, really.
Good. Now, we've talked about the upside of everything. What about the downside? There's always the other side of the coin. Have you fallen into any heffalump traps or into any bear pits along the way, pitfalls that you weren't expecting, or have things panned out in a way completely different to what you expected?
Well, I think it's about understanding the pace of change and how to align that best to your event. So in some areas we've been very progressive and pretty quick, and in other areas we've taken a bit more time to really consider and think about the use case. I mean, connectivity on site is a very topical issue. That's an area where we're being a little more considered and making sure that if we do provide full connectivity, it absolutely has to work without question. Again, that would be damaging to our brand if it didn't. So it's that can be a challenge because there is the world, as I said, is changing quickly, and lots of other people are innovating and pushing the bar, and we need to keep up. But we also need to be mindful of not keeping up for the sake of keeping up. We want to make sure that it's always for the right reasons and executed in the right way.
Now, the lifeblood of this, of course, is data. And the quid pro quo in many applications and incarnations of the Internet of Things is you get something as an individual, and you as an individual give something back. You're not actually paying for it, but it's in the form of data. What the greatest concerns have been, and we've been talking about this with interviewees over the past couple of days for the Internet of Things, is security of that data. Again, it's a difficult area, and you being the brand and the body that you are has to be obviously even more mindful than most of this. Has it been a problem to ensure that things are secure?
No, because I think the scale of information that we're capturing at the moment is pretty small, and I think it's a very, very important point, and one, again, when you come back to the connectivity thing that we have to be ironclad on, because as you say, it's a huge reputational risk, and we would want to make sure that it is as secure as possible. That said, that there are benefits to collecting that data, and we want to be more effective at communicating with our fans and our spectators. There are hundreds of thousands of people who apply every year to enter the Wimbledon ballot, which is still a paper process.
Is it really?
It is a paper process.
Yeah.
It's another one of our strange traditions. But at the moment we can't communicate with those people, so there is probably a missed opportunity there. But as you say, it's got to be handled in the right way.
One of the buzzwords of this decade, really, but certainly at the moment, and certainly for the next few foreseeable years, is the notion of the ecosystem. You've heard it all the time, applied to everything, and it's used particularly in regard to things like telecommunication services, TV services, and so on. Do you perceive and have an ecosystem as the All England Lawn Tennis Club? You're part of something which is bigger than yourselves, obviously. What does that ecosystem look like?
I think we probably have a few, and they probably work in concentric circles, really, in that there is our core owned properties, which spans digital, social, in-ground activation, partnerships at the stations, for example. And what we've really worked hard on over the last 4 years is aligning them to actually be consistent, and that they feed off each other properly. You don't just sort of splash stuff out, wherever you feel like it. The ring around that would be our broadcast partners, who we work very closely with, our official suppliers, which is the way we refer to our sponsors, and then the media. And then also you've got the players as well as another very important stakeholder.
Yes,
so
yeah.
we
Nothing without them.
No, well, quite. Well, we set the stage for them.
Indeed you do, yes.
But it's very important strategically to ensure that we're communicating with each of those stakeholder groups to take them with us. So again, back to the connectivity point, if there suddenly was a swell of demand from a certain stakeholder group for it, then that would probably accelerate the development of the programme. And then the other sort of specific to technology, the other area is in actually the suppliers, the people helping to provide us with not just our digital developments, but also the in-venue developments around the site, of which there are several across the tennis world, and some specific to us.
It's winter now, but it's not long to June. I take it you're ramping up big time already.
It's about 138 days to go, something
You know
like
many
that.
hours. Last question to then, Alexander, which is, it must be difficult to augment or to align the likes of the sort of quirky traditions of something like Wimbledon and the demands of technological innovation, which can be inimical to that. Does that cause tensions within the organisation itself?
I mean, it is a tension, the tension between tradition and innovation, but that tension is actually core to our brand. And if you look at the way that Wimbledon has developed over the years, the centre court roof is a good example. That is an extraordinary innovation, but it's done in I'm sure you do, but it's done in a way that is still absolutely respectful. It's a slightly slower roof than some other roofs around the world, because it's got to take in mind the grass and what is the right way to deal with that. So we really treat it as an opportunity, and it's a real a privilege, but a challenge to be the guardians looking after that tension at this time when there is so much going on, so much evolving, and our job really is to make sure that we evolve with it.
Fascinating interview, really interesting to hear what goes on there. Alexander Willis, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.